Welcome back to the Star Wars Destiny Store Championship, hosted at Mayhem Comics and Games in Des Moines, Iowa. This is round 2, and I am Grandpa Jake. This round will be giving you another game featuring my deck with Ahsoka, eMaz, and Gungan. And on the other side, we've got Jamie playing Leia, Yoda, Mill. Jamie's been working on this deck a little bit the last few weeks, and I've been building this Ahsoka, eMaz goofy combo deck recently, so we're both aware of each other's decks, even if we haven't really played against each other all that much. And I'm not really sure about the mill matchup with this combo deck, because if he can mill my combo pieces, I'm pretty much game over in terms of ramping. And of course, most vehicles decks have a bad matchup against mill, so I'm not necessarily feeling great. But if I get the combo going and I can kind of take away some of his mitigation or play through some of that mitigation, I might just be okay. So we'll see how it goes. We're both I'm looking to ramp early. He's probably looking for stuff like first aid, just in case I hit Leia, or maybe a force meditation to help speed up that mill game plan. And he also just wants removal every round, because if he can mess with my money or my damage from the start, he's really going to put himself ahead. So he'll draw his 6 card from his espionage, and we will get off, or his stolen intel, and we will get into the roll-off. The specials on Yoda, giving him effectively 2 blanks for the roll-off, doesn't help, but he's still got some 2 sides on those dice, and I've got a lot of 1 sides and a double blank on the Gungan, so he wins the roll-off and goes with his battlefield so he can heal. And he starts off with a force meditation, which means he's going to be milling pretty quick. But I start off with a chance cube, which acts both as a great money engine on Maz and also as a little bit of mill protection at the end of the game. So he'll roll out Leia quickly, and I'm immediately staring down the prospect of that 1 discard side. Even with a blank and only a 1 discard, a commando raid could take 3 out of my hand, and so I don't really know what I want to do to play around that, and I don't really think I really can do anything, so I'll just roll out Maz and try to get some money quick. And we hit the blank on the chance cube, but we do hit a focus on Maz, so we can focus that cube to a 3 and immediately resolve it. And while he doesn't have the commando raid, he does have the motivate, which increases that 1 discard to a 2 discard. And while that's not taking out all of my hand, I am pretty sad to see that R2-D2 disappear. I do slap down that Y-Wing. I don't think he really has any way to action cheat out anything out of my hand at this point, but I don't want to risk it, so I play it down as fast as I can. And he'll roll out Yoda and get that mill really going fast. I'll roll out the Gungan, and I believe I hit the 1 resource on it, which is basically exactly what I want to see from that Gungan early on. Getting that resource ramp going so that I can reactivate Ahsoka if I need to, and play down those vehicles is a pretty big part of the deck. He'll discard to reroll. He's looking for Yoda specials, discard sides on Leia, just stuff to get more value out of those dice, and it looks like he hit at least 1 special on a Yoda. I roll out Ahsoka. I believe I hit a discard, and I don't really feel like paying 1 for that. Maybe if it was 2 damage, I pay 1 round 1, but most of the time, if I don't have a respected businessman on her, I just don't do anything. So he'll resolve one of those Yoda dice for a discard, taking my last card. So now I'm just blind rolling that Y-Wing and hoping. But we get a 2 damage. So now I'm just waiting for him to mitigate. He should have probably 1 or 2 mitigations in an opening hand. Even if he's not really mulliganing for it, they just pop up because you play a lot of that in those decks. So, but instead of mitigating any of those dice, he will use the focus side on the force meditation to change to a 2 discard on Leia, so you can use his power action. And then he'll use that power action to take 2 off the top. I lose a rally aid, which slows down my ramp a little bit, but the other card is a caution, which I really don't care about in this matchup. And then he'll end up playing Pacify on that die I focused, so that makes Pacify really, really good because it effectively removed 2 character dice, that focus and then the 2 damage side, all for the cost of 2 shields, which he absolutely does not care about, especially putting shields on when you get a character up to max shields. On the odd off case that I'm playing something like a Dagger of Mortis in this deck, he turns off that ability by putting her on full shields, so he's happy to see that. So we'll move on to the next round. I've got a vehicle and a chance cube down. He's got a force meditation down. So we've both got some good cards out to start, but I get an even stronger card out. Well, at least stronger now that I'm comboing off with that chance cube. Getting down eMaz's Goggles to increase my chances of rolling a focus to even greater. And with that chance cube and Maz's Goggles rolling out, I've just got a super reliable money engine, pretty much 2 free money every time I roll out. But he does get a C3PO, so he's got a nice little alternative way to mill, as well as maybe make some money or resolve a special on a side that's not showing, or a die that's not showing what he wants. I'll roll out Maz and get that free money again. And we're really into kind of a slugfest, assuming he's got the removal to handle some of these great cards I'm being able to play down. So he'll play a chance cube, which will help him gain some money and is pretty much always active thanks to that Yoda. And with that C3PO, he can change it to that 3 side and have a 3 discard whenever he wants it. So he rolls in he plays a hit and run, and he's going to roll in here. And he hits triple blanks, which really saves me because I'm assuming he had something like a Motivate in his hand or just wanting to resolve a double discard because I've only got 3 cards left in hand. Maybe take away a vehicle or something like that if I'm waiting to play it. So seeing those blanks pop up is really good for me. And he sees all those blanks and forgets that he has hit and run for an ambush action, because normally you just resolve whatever you roll out with hit and run as your second action. So when you whiff like that, you don't always know what to do, but you can just roll out those Yoda dice. Either they'll be able to do some fixing for you, or you'll just re-roll them all. And because he's got blanks showing, I will play easy pickings with my last resource. And here, I think I decide to go with the chance cube die and one of the Leia dice as opposed to both of the Leia dice. Because while both of those Leia dice can mill me, the chance cube can potentially turn into a big discard side, or it can get him off of the 0 resources that he's on right now, which I'm pretty happy to see him on 0, so I'd kind of rather keep him there if I can. And with that in mind, I will attempt to hidden motive the Yoda so that he can't get a resource from that special. And Yoda doesn't have a natural resource side, so the special is the only way he can do it. And he'll roll a discard side, which he gets my other natural pilot. And generally, I don't really care much about the second natural pilot because you can't usually afford to ready Ahsoka with both natural pilots or even play both natural pilots. But the fear against Mill is that he can now Flames of the Past that away. So I'm pretty afraid of that. I roll out my Y-Wing and focus to the special, and he gets himself a resource with 3 C3PO so that he can essentially use one of them as a shield, and then he only has to deal 3 more damage out. So he'll power action a couple cards off the top. One of them's a U-Wing, so that's really good too. It makes it another Flames of the Past target, and I can't use that U-Wing, which that's my ideal target for natural pilot. So I'll roll out Ahsoka. I don't have the money to ready her, so I'll only get the natural pilot once, but it does let me ready the Y-Wing. Oop, and he'll hit a respected businessman, which I really would want to see next round to help pay for that natural pilot as well as get that combo going. And I'll resolve the discard from Ahsoka, and I am super happy to see that I hit a Flames of the Past. So I'm hoping he only plays 1, and I'm guessing, if I remember correctly, he does. So hitting that to protect my natural pilot was pretty big. I do hit the base ranged side to match with that modifier on the natural pilot, so I'm pretty happy to see that, and I'm able to get Leia down to only 4 health left. So while my deck is beginning to dwindle a little bit, I'm actually feeling pretty good. I've got some combo pieces out there, and we've got damage on the board. So we'll move into next round. And I'm hoping to get at least one more vehicle down, and then hopefully I will be able to afford to actually ready Ahsoka when I roll her out this time and use that natural pilot. So here I'll roll in with Maz, and that suppressive fire means that Maz's focuses, one of them can kind of disappear, but I think he decides to hold on and try to mitigate damage with the suppressive fire instead, and I think, if I remember correctly, I rolled 2 focuses, so it's not really quite as valuable to him to spend his money and remove that. So I'll use one of my 2 focuses to get 3 money, and we're back up to 4. And so at this point, while I can't afford to, say, play a U-Wing and a Y-Wing and then also pay to ready Ahsoka, I can at the very least afford to ready Ahsoka pretty easily with just spending 2 of that 4. So he'll roll out Leia and get some pretty solid sides there. Leia's sides are pretty much always great unless you hit that blank. I'll roll in the Y-Wing and hit a blank. But I still have that other focus sitting for Maz, so I've got plenty of focus on the board. There's even a double focus side on the natural pilot, should I feel like chaining into that. So he'll use the double focus on Leia to turn those sides to the double discard and the 3 money. And so at this point, I'm trying to figure out, do I want to lose a big portion of my hand to Commando Raid? Potentially. And I decide the answer to that is no, I'll just lose 1 and a resource instead. And then, of course, he rolls in the 3PO and can just take away my whole hand pretty much with the 3PO ability. So I'll just decide to roll in Ahsoka and ready a vehicle. I hit another modified damage, so I got to use that focus to match to the base damage, and I lose my crate speeder, which is a little disappointing. I'd like to be able to play that down this round. So I just roll in the Gungan. I think I'm probably thinking reroll, and so I want to get as many dice out there as possible before I do. He rolls in his eYoda, which I never want to see when I don't have removal to kind of slow down that plan. But I will do my discard to reroll. And I don't really know why I re-rolled that Maz die if I had a focus on it. So maybe I wasn't showing a focus earlier. He'll re-roll as well and get himself some specials out. And I believe at this point I'm counting my deck, and if I remember correctly, I counted something like 8 or 9. So I don't think that he can empty my deck, but with what's on the board. But I probably only have 1 round after this. So he'll take a shield with the eYoda special and turn a die, and then he'll take a shield and do a mill, and mill 2 more. He gets my other respected businessman, which, while all it would do next round is pay for itself, I still kind of want to see it in case this goes 2 more rounds. So I'll disrupt him so I can resolve that Y-Wing again. And since I'm able to roll in Ahsoka, I'm hopefully going to be able to resolve that Y-Wing twice. I guess we'll find out. Unfortunately, the natural pilot is sitting out there on a blank. And so I won't be able to roll that back in, potentially getting it to a focus side, and I have no cards in my hand, so seeing that blank on the Y-Wing means the natural pilot ready isn't really going to do anything for me. So at this point, I'm just down to hopefully seeing something good from Ahsoka's die. So I think he's got a little bit of removal and he's weighing his options, but he decides to just claim, get that heal. Since I have so many blanks out there, there's always the small risk of me claiming early. So I roll in Ahsoka. I think I roll a shield, which is effectively a blank. So I'll resolve my only good die, the good old Gungan warrior, for 1 damage. And that's because my thought was, if I'm able to, say, do a lot of damage at once to Leia, I don't want to have it be overkill if I'm doing something like adding a modifier to her range side. But since Leia had so much health left, I think that was kind of wrong, because I'm going to have to go through those shields and resolve in chunks anyways. So if my goal is to get down Leia first, putting it on Yoda is not helping that plan. And I will very quickly play down a U-Wing before he does something like a hit and run or some other way to quickly get cards out of my hand. And with that U-Wing, I am very hopeful that I can close this game out, because I'll be able to ready it with the natural pilot. So he rolls out Leia, puts a little pressure on with potentially showing those discard sides, but I immediately get a special from the U-Wing, and I am very happy to see that, because it can either deal 4 damage across the board, and I guess in this matchup that's all I want, but it can deal 4 damage across the board, and it's not showing a damage side or a large side, so it's not available to be defensive positioned or something like that. And as we'll see, it's not a great target for hidden motive, because he'll hidden motive the special and it'll roll itself into 3 damage, which is pretty much exactly what you want to see. So I'll deal the 3D Yoda. I'm not really sure why I switched targets at this point. Probably wasn't the best move. And he'll roll out Yoda, and I'll very quickly easy picking specials. At this point, the Yoda specials are pretty much the only side that scares me. Obviously, I don't want double discards, but it doesn't look like he has those out, so I'm just mostly scared of the Yoda specials. And I see him discard a Beguile to reroll. Oh, and he'll consider that again. He'll decide instead to use the 4 speed first, so I can't remove anything good that he rolls out. And he hits the double discard, so he steals a couple cards I don't really care about, but I'm down to very, very few cards, so any discard sides that he gets are something I don't really want to see. And I've only got 1 card in deck, so any sort of Leia power action will remove that. So I bounce back that chance cube to my hand, because I might need it to even survive this round. And I think here I'm trying to figure out if I want to resolve any of those focus sides, or if he wants to suppressive fire any of those focus sides. Or do I want to kind of slow roll it, wait until I get out my big dice, and then turn those to the sides I really need. And I think I decided to wait on it a little bit. No, and it looks like instead I go for the resource. I'm not sure exactly why I want that resource. Maybe I guess there's another resource showing, so I can get up to 2 and be able to ready Ahsoka. But he'll roll out the 3PO, so now he can 3PO one of those sides to empty my hand. I've only got 2 left, so I will quickly play down that chance cube, because it might be my only way to save the game. So at this point, I think he wanted to slow it down just a little bit, so he can figure out if there's a way he can guarantee a victory this round. But he resolves the 3PO for a discard, which is good on its own, because then now I have no rerolls the rest of the game. But if I can roll a little hot, I can still kind of catch up in this race. So I'll roll out the Y-Wing and hit the special, which is certainly something I want to see. He'll resolve the special with the Force Meditation to take the last card off my deck. So now all I have is that Chance Cube, but all he's got out is a Chance Cube die, so he won't be able to take away the Chance Cube out of my hand this round. So I'll resolve that special. He'll spread out his damage, and I think we ended up accidentally putting a little bit too much damage down, because if I remember correctly, when I resolved it, I thought to myself, he's going to put one of these characters to 4. And the reason that 4 is somewhat significant is because when I roll out Ahsoka, a plus... Well, I guess 4 is not that significant, never mind. But it is 2 and 2, which I have a few different ways to deal 2 in this deck. I thought 4 was a little more significant than it was when I was doing the math in my head, because of the modified side on the natural pilot, but since the base side on U-Wing is 3, I'm either dealing 5 or 6 with the modified sides on the natural pilot, so 4 isn't really that big of a deal. So he'll leave Leia on 4, or Leia on 5, and Ahsoka on 4 health left. So I've only got 9 damage to deal this round, which, if I can use Ahsoka twice, will work out for me, and I believe the Gungan heroically rolled me a resource here, so I'm going to be able to use Ahsoka twice. Yep, I resolved that Gungan for a resource die, bringing me to 2, so I'll be able to afford to ready Ahsoka. And he decides to just claim, so I can kind of do exactly what I want with my dice. So I'll roll in Ahsoka, use the natural pilot to ready the U-Wing, and pay 2 to ready Ahsoka. So hopefully, well, I'll definitely be getting that U-Wing off twice because it has no blanks, which is the other reason it's so great with the natural pilot. And so here I think I have to decide how, if there's a focus showing on that Maz's Goggles side, what do I want to do with that U-Wing 2 resources? He's got 10 health left on board, so I don't think, unless I get really lucky, I can kill him this round, but obviously I'm going into next round, so I just want to try to maximize damage. So I will use a focus to go to 2 damage on Ahsoka, and the special, which is effectively 4 damage on the Y-Wing. So now he's got 6 health left. I'll use Ahsoka to kill Yoda. It's down to 4 health. Disrupt his money with that natural pilot die. And so here I'm rolling for that base 3. And I don't get it, but I get some money for going into next round. And at this point, he's at 4 health, and I will be able to resolve that U-Wing a couple times, barring any removal. So he's in a pretty rough spot. He does draw the hit and run, however, so he can at least take that Chance Cube out of my hand, potentially. But I believe he whiffs on the discard side. So with his ambush action, he'll just play a Force Illusion to try to prolong the game. And whiffing on the discard side there is really a huge part of making it so that I can probably get through this round again. Because that means that he doesn't have any action cheating left, and I'll be able to immediately play the Chance Cube whenever he rolls out something that would let him discard, like just there. He rolls out the 3PO, so he can use that ability, but I'll just play the Chance Cube down, and I don't have to roll in that Gungan this round until my last action of the round if I don't want to. So at this point, my real concern is that he has something like Retreat, so that he can kind of end the game before I can get that Chance Cube back. And I think I was too concerned about Retreat because, in hindsight, my last action, or my one action for Retreat, could just be to roll in the Gungan and put it back in my hand. But I was kind of playing fast with the U-Wing, trying to roll it out, resolve it so that I can ready it as fast as I can, resolve it before he has the ability to gain his money up and play retreat. But after he discards the last card in his hand, I'm not so worried about losing in this round again either, and I pretty much have sealed it up. And with 4 health left and a special showing on the Y-Wing, there's not a whole lot left he can do. So he'll claim to heal to get up to 5 health left. But I think I have a focus showing on one of those Maz dice, so I'll be able to survive that no matter what. And I think what they're doing here is talking out how he can put a shield on with the 3PO, or a resource with the 3PO. But instead, it doesn't really matter because I have the focus, so I'll be able to roll out Ahsoka, use the double focus on the natural pilot if I have to, ready the U-Wing. So I've got the actions left to fill it out. And the combo deck takes it against Mill. I was able to just get the U-Wing combo going, resolving the U-Wing multiple times around against a Mill deck is just too much. If he'd been able to maybe remove the U-Wing die pretty much every time I rolled it out, or if Suppressive Fire had ever been super effective against those Maz focus sides, it might have been a different game, but I got my engine going and got ahead and pulled it out. Thanks for watching round 2 of the Mayhem Store Championship. Hit us back for round 3.